Hello YouTube. So in today's video I want to give yet again another spiel. This one today, which I just kind of came up with on the top of my head, at the top of my head, however you say it, is that being unemployed is not as easy or as comfortable as one might believe. As a matter of fact, it actually kind of sucks because I've been unemployed applying countless places and occasionally get an interview or two, and then it just doesn't really go anywhere after that. Hopefully that changes soon, but then again, I've been hoping and applying and occasionally interviewing for, I think it's been like almost 3 months now since my last job, which really wasn't much of a job anyways, because unless you count the ICF one, but then again, that one wasn't really a job either, because it's like they didn't actually hire me, even though they said they did. That one was the one where you might have seen in my previous videos, I was breaking their laptop after they, forcibly deactivated my account, meaning that somebody who worked for that company deactivated it. And they even told me that it wasn't like a system glitch or anything like that. They said a person actually deactivated it on me. But then they pretend like, oh, well, why is it a no-call, no-show now? Yeah, I wonder why. Probably because somebody told me they forcibly deactivated my account. So yeah, there's just one of many examples, as lots of companies will probably do this nowadays. It came off as very scamish. Thankfully they paid me that week's worth of training, even though it wasn't actually training. It was just like I think there was just like a way of getting a bigger pool of applicants so that they could get a greater potential pool of whatever skills they're looking for. Like, out of those 45 people who were hired in that week's worth of training, they were probably only looking for one that they could actually keep. And of course, I didn't fit the bill because I never worked remotely before. Although I'm currently taking online courses to maybe one day do just that, except it would be a much better paying remote job. But yeah, and before that I was doing driving jobs like a taxi or a logistics company or UPS or Amazon. I worked for all those places for a limited time only, though. And since quitting this taxi place in Plover back in late March of this year, it was about 3 months ago as of the making of this video, because it's like mid to late June. Let me think. 16th of June today, Monday the 16th. So it's been almost 3 months since doing that job. And it's just like, I keep applying places, applying. Occasionally I get an interview, even an in-person interview from time to time. And then it just doesn't go anywhere from there. It's like, I even reapplied at the place I used to work for nearly 5 years, Sam's Club in Rib Mountain, Wisconsin. And they won't let me come back, even though when I stopped working there last year in April, it was a voluntary resignation. I guess because I didn't turn in a 2-week notice. Maybe that's what's preventing me from getting hired back, or maybe there's a hiring freeze. Maybe they're anticipating more layoffs or a hiring freeze because of expected price hikes because of tariffs. But again, like, no hate to Trump. I voted for Trump. And I like him. I trust his leadership much more so than what we did have. But then again, the main purpose of this video is to say that being unemployed sucks because it's like it feels very difficult just to regain another stable source of income, especially when the job market is so competitive. I understand why a lot of people may hate their jobs, especially when places are expecting so much more out of their employees than what they used to. If you're somebody watching this and you do have a job, well then be glad for that. Even though it sucks, probably because they expect you to do the work of 5 or 6 people, still be glad that you have a source of income, especially if it's a stable source of income. You know? Like, don't get me wrong, I am grateful for what I do have, like, especially when it comes to something like Section 8, and I just recently got back on food share and Medicaid now, since I have no source of income, but I'm trying to get one. So yeah, it's just like, it's difficult. The way the economy is, the way life itself is, especially in this day and age. It's like unemployment is not as easy as one might imagine, you know? It's like I'm big time stressing about how do I get a source of income? Because I have bills to pay, just like everybody else does. It's like, especially with how difficult it is just to like get a stable source of income, just to work a basic job. The thing is, a lot of places could probably use more help, but companies are hesitant to hire more people because the company has to worry about the long-term sustainability of the business, because wages are basically an expense as far as the business is concerned. As a matter of fact, labor costs, according to the Google Gemini chatbot, is one of the biggest expenses for any business, oftentimes the number one biggest expense for any business. Which is why when companies are worried about minimizing costs or long-term sustainability of the business, cutting hours or hiring freezes or even layoffs are one of the first things they look at, because that's one of their biggest expenses, sometimes the biggest expense. You know? And with wage increases, that increases business expenses. You know, there was a time when people were whining about wage increases, which is understandable because people need more to afford higher costs. But then those wage increases are a higher cost on the business end of things. And businesses are affected by inflation just like the rest of us, you know? So I think it sucks to be unemployed, and there's probably a lot of other people who would see this and relate to it. You know, perhaps you're an unemployed person as well watching this, and you're thinking that it sucks and you really wish you could get a job, but the job market is very competitive, to say the least. Like, the average job could have 50 to 100, maybe even hundreds of applications being submitted just for that one listing. There's also a growing number of job listings that aren't even real at all, also known as ghost jobs. You know? So yeah, if you're somebody who's got a stable source of income, be very grateful. And I understand that it's tough when companies expect their employees to do the work of 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 people. But if you're able to do that, and if it's a company you've been at for a long time now, like, think twice before quitting. Like, I actually kind of regret quitting the job that I did have for nearly 5 years, because it's been hard to, like, not only get but also keep a job since then. You know, like there's companies where if you can't meet the demanding metrics, not saying any names, Amazon, actually I am, like they've got really high metrics, and if you can't meet them, then they just fire you. You know, it's like, it's understandable because it's like from their point of view, they're thinking they want to offer competitive wages to attract new hires, but they also expect a lot out of you, even more so than probably what they used to, because that's just the way it is nowadays. It's just like it boils down to scarcity, I think. Like there's simply not enough to go around on planet Earth. So then more is expected out of each and every person just to get their basic needs met. Anyways, that's my, as of right now, 11-minute spiel. I give lots of spiels. And today's spiel is about unemployment sucks. And if you have a stable source of income, think twice before giving it up, because it is an underappreciated thing. And I can totally relate to being burned out because I know what that's like as well. So, but at the same time, unemployment fucking sucks too. So just think twice before quitting your stable source of income. And hopefully I get a job soon. I already have one lined up, but it's the kind of job that I probably won't be able to keep for very long, but I'll certainly make an honest attempt at doing so. Anyways, have a good day. Until the next one, bye.